Today on Monkey Life. Reunited after 2 months apart, Hananya's gang are finally back together.
It's important for the group, it's important for Kiki, and it's an exciting day.
A mother's work is never done. Jeremy gets the night shift again.
There, nick of time.
And Capuchin Tau proves a hit with the ladies. Monkey World in Dorset is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate primates from all over the world.
Smells a bit macaque in there, but yeah, we're good.
The park is home to more than 240 monkeys and apes from 17 different species. It's a big day for Hananya's group. For the first time in 2 months, they're all going to be back together. They had to be separated because a new chimp joined their community. Kiki was rescued from the Lebanon where she'd spent 8 years stuck in a tiny cage at the side of a road.
Nothing's ever straightforward on these. Fingers crossed.
She's been slowly integrated into Hananya's group. Having never known other chimps, Kiki had no idea of chimpanzee politics, and it's been a steep learning curve for her.
She's been here just over 8 weeks now, so not very long really, but she's met every member of the group and been with all sorts of combinations of animals, is moving well inside, is confident in the outside enclosure. And so now it's really a time to put the whole group together so that we can maximise the space for them and they can all get used to being a group again with the addition of one new animal. I think it's very hard to predict today, really, and it is a nervous time for us all because it is a big jump for Kiki.
After such a long time apart, staff are expecting the chimps to jostle for position and to re-establish old bonds. First to emerge are the higher rankers. They're happy to be outdoors, but with so many staff around, quickly realise something is going on. Boss Hananya wastes no time in displaying and asserting his dominance, while second-in-command Tico has a more leisurely approach. Most of the group are outside now, but there's no sign of the new girl.
Cakes!
She is tempted for a moment, but then retreats, staying close to the chimp she feels most comfortable with. Patricia keeps Kiki amused with her balancing skills, while Johnny is happy just to play. Kiki's done well to align herself with Johnny, as she's quite a high-ranking female. Outside, the rest of the group are getting used to being back together again. Cherry is trying to impress everyone with her hose-walking skills. Tootie follows, but needs a bit more practice. Shamak wants to find out what's going on back inside. Kiki doesn't seem in any hurry to move, especially now she has the attention of lowest-ranking male Arthur. Shamak looks like he's trying to coax her out. But with the top chimps, led by Hananya, still reasserting themselves, it may take her a while to find the courage to join them. Like Kiki, elderly squirrel monkey Fidget has had to learn about social hierarchy. He was rehomed last year after being kept as a pet for 20 years. In squirrel monkey society, females are usually dominant, so being the only male in the group, he's the lowest ranking, but has settled in well. Today, he and the 4 females in his group are having special treatment.
We've got a box of wax worms. This is the squirrel monkey's chocolate. It's their absolute favourite thing. In the wild, they spend a lot of time foraging around for insects. They forage in any kind of cracks and crevices they can find. So by doing this, we're hoping that they'll kind of try and replicate that behaviour a bit by going inside and getting the bugs out. And also, it's just a bit of enrichment for them, so it's a bit of fun and something completely different for them. You coming, Fidge? Go on, have a look.
Group leader Alien, along with Topsy and Turvy, are quick to tuck in. Unlike Fidget, who's rather reticent.
Oh, go on, Fidge. It's all right. If the girls kind of go away and disperse a little bit, hopefully he will then come over and have a little bit of an investigate himself and see what's going on.
The pumpkin is proving very popular with the girls. Samantha is a low ranker in the group, but has grown in confidence since she was rescued a few years ago.
You gonna go get some, Sam? Once she decides that she's going to go for something, especially if it involves insects, then she just gets straight in there and gets tucked in.
Fidget hovers on the sidelines, but doesn't dare disturb Samantha when she's plundering the pumpkin.
Fidget has got an absolutely brilliant personality. Everyone here absolutely adores him. It's the socialisation that he's kind of lacking, so within the group he is the quieter member. The girls definitely kind of rule the roost.
With most of the tasty treats gone, Samantha now has her eyes on a bigger prize. She's had enough of being spied on.
She's going to try and eat the camera in a minute.
And tries to dismantle the camera. Thanks, Sam. Like the squirrel monkeys, the park's first ever patas monkey is also rather elderly.
She's very beautiful.
Jeremy has just brought 18-year-old Mitsa back from Slovenia, where she'd lived as a pet. She'd been kept in a cage for the last few years because she'd become aggressive towards her owner.
Very soon she will have another patas monkey, and then she will be... That's what she wants. Really, that's what she really wants.
Mitsa's been at Monkey World now for about 3 or 4 days, over the weekend really, and it's been really, very nice. We've had some time for her to settle in and relax and get used to a few new faces, a completely new language, of course, the sights and smells of the new neighbours who are a bit of a force to contend with, and, just getting used to everything new in her life here. So it's been quite nice that Mitsa's had the weekend to settle in, but it's now Monday and it's time to get started again, and the next change in her life is her companion is arriving later today. So we're all quite excited about it and hoping that Mitsa's actually settled in enough that she's prepared to deal with a new face and life in her life.
Mitsa's new friend is called Sissy Joe. She's been living at the monkey sanctuary in Cornwall for the last few years. Like all primates, patas monkeys are social animals and need company. In the wild, they live in female-dominated groups and can run very quickly, reaching speeds of up to 55 kilometers an hour.
Just mind banging it.
Staff from the monkey sanctuary in Cornwall have travelled with Sissy Joe to Dorset to make sure she settles in. Sissy Joe did have a partner, but he died, and she's lived on her own ever since.
She's quite a stubborn old lady, bit of a set in her routines, likes to do things her own way, tells us off if we do something she doesn't like. She generally likes sitting and eating. They're her favourite pastimes, I would say, being a bit of an older lady. But she likes pottering, having a little bit of a forage, a little bit of a sunbathe, eat a little bit more, and just, generally just potter around, really.
Sissy, good girl, come on, sweetheart. That's a good girl. Good girl, Sissy.
Sissy Joe happily leaves her travel crate and soaks up her new surroundings. Mitsa is showing an interest, so the team let her into a room next to Sissy Joe. But Sissy Joe hardly seems to notice Mitsa.
She doesn't care. That doesn't hold any weight with her. It's sort of all fingers crossed because you've got two older ladies who have a whole world of baggage and history that each of them bring with them. And you just don't know how it's going to turn out. You assume that the two monkeys will want to be together and have companionship, but you know, a lot of the time when people get older and set in their ways and a bit grumpy, that doesn't always work out that way. Good girls. Brilliant. Rock solid.
First signs are promising, so Alison and Jeremy decide to take it one step further and allow them to meet properly.
Okay, the choice is now hers. She's very delicate, and the posture just is always so perfect. It kills me.
Meetsa is desperate to be friends, but Sissy Joe appears rather aloof.
Oh, look, please be my friend. We always try and take the monkey's lead, so as soon as we got here, Meetsa looked really excited, so let's open the doors, and Sissy Joe's been there, done that before, so she's yawning, displaying her teeth, you know, doing dominance things, and it's just gone brilliantly. Sissy Joe's holding court, looking the dominant individual, and Meetsa's just covering her head to toe, grooming every inch of her, and I think is not going to look back and simply doesn't care about us anymore. So really pleased for both monkeys that for their remaining years, and it's only going to be a few more years that each of them has left, but they'll be together and be able to live a nice, calm existence here, trouble-free, as long as the handbags don't come out. Oh, she's got nipples in there and everything.
At Hananya's enclosure, the chimps are still on their guard. This is the first day they've all been together for 2 months because of new arrival Kiki, so the higher rankers have been keen to reassert their dominance. Kiki, meanwhile, is still reluctant to venture out and join them. This is a big deal for her. Until now, she's only been with a few chimps at a time, so facing the whole group at once must be daunting.
At first, obviously, we were all outside because we're interested and excited about what's happening, but also to obviously keep an eye on her if she did come out. But I think that's actually making her apprehensive about coming outside because she's probably worried that we're going to shut her out. So we've just backed off now so that she can come out in her own time and she doesn't feel pressurised.
Once the staff have backed off, the chimps seem to relax, and Shamak, who's been trying to coax Kiki out, followed by Hananya, Simon and Tico, head inside. Hananya begins to throw his weight around and stomp his feet to remind everyone, including Kiki, that he's the boss. Next, it's Peggy's turn to put Kiki in her place. When she has a second go at her, Kiki proves she's no pushover. And finally plucks up the courage to venture outside. But then changes her mind. Simon is in high spirits, which freaks Patricia out. Peggy and Valerie come over to show solidarity. The chimps have re-established the pecking order. Kiki seems to sense this and is finally persuaded outside by her closest friends.
Oh, Trudy's playing. Oh, she wants Trudy to go back in.
Although Kiki then manages to convince Trudy and some of the others that inside is where the fun is to be had.
It's still fairly early days, 8 weeks. It's not very long to forge friendships with animals that have been together for years and years. Kiki's been amazing and she's surprised us all how quickly she's learned and how confident she is. So she's been an amazing animal. We're really impressed with her and I think this was the right group for her and I think she's got a bright future here.
Capuchin Tau is also getting used to his new surroundings after being rescued from Slovenia. Like Patas monkey Mitza, he'd been kept as a pet, and his owners asked the park to rehome him because they were concerned he was losing weight and developing behavioural problems.
Tau's, when he first arrived, was quite sort of shaky and did seem to struggle a bit with moving around. He has shown improvement over the last few days, particularly. We've put in a lot more ramps and things for him as well, which has helped. But yeah, he's moving around a lot more. This will all help him in the long run because it'll help him build up the muscles that he should be using. Yeah, hopefully with time he'll improve and be moving more like a Capuchin should.
Tau has a hunched back and shoulders because he suffered from rickets when he was younger, after being kept in a basement with very little natural light. Capuchins come from South America. They need sunlight because it helps to produce vitamin D3, which is particularly important for primates when they're growing and their bones are developing. A lack of exercise has added to Tau's problems. The team are concerned about his weight, so are now busy feeding him up.
Tau's shown a lot of improvement with his eating. He's particularly favouring a lot of the juicier fruits, so he really loves his oranges and his melons. But he also quite likes the insects as well, which is great because we're trying to build him up a bit more. So any protein we can get into him's a good thing at the moment. So yeah, his favourites usually waxworms and mealworms, so he gets a lot of those.
The Capuchins at the park can be rather boisterous. As Tau has lived on his own for such a long time, staff have decided to ease him in gradually and are keeping him separate for the time being.
Tau's got an absolutely lovely character. All the Primate Care staff down there have just fallen in love with him because he's, particularly now he's coming out of his shell a little bit more, he's very friendly. He's, you know, always sort of saying hello when you go to leave and he starts flirting away. So, yeah, he's a very friendly lad.
And it's not just the staff he's been flirting with. The girls across the way are getting some attention too.
Tau's has got a long way to go, but things are looking quite positive for him, so we'll just have to cross our fingers that he continues to improve the way he has over the last few days.
The primate's bedtime is long past, but for Jeremy, the day is far from over.
All good? OK, let's go and feed the little one.
Every evening, he returns to the centre to check on his latest charge. With the rest of the monkeys and apes fast asleep, Jeremy makes his way to the orang nursery on the far side of the park. At 11 months, Silvestre, like any other baby, is grouchy until he's had his late-night milk feed. The little orang has recently been rehomed here from a zoo in Spain because his mother didn't feed him. Jeremy has now taken on the responsibility.
We boiled the water up earlier, put a bit of baby rice in the milk. But he does like the banana-flavoured baby rice. Yep, that'll do. It's funny, some like it almost hot and some like it sort of like tepid, and it's really peculiar, the individuals. And he doesn't like it very warm at all, do you, Puppet? There you go. There, nick of time. I do this through the mesh deliberately because the less contact we have with him physically, the easier it's going to be for him to become an orangutan. If I let him sort of cling on to me, then it's quite traumatic and stressful for him when I pull away. I don't grudge him having a cuddle, and he does get cuddles during the day, but limiting his human time makes him have more value in the time he has with the other orangs. He actually generally has a full bottle first thing, which is 7 o'clock in the morning, and then now, which is 9 o'clock at night, 9 or 9:30, and that's 260 mils. And then he has another, generally has another full bottle during the day, but sometimes he doesn't drink all of the one during the day. You're supposed to drink it, not breathe it. You're supposed to inhale it, you idiot.
Silvestre is now sleeping in a bedroom with Jolie, Linga and Dinda.
He says, you come in here in the middle of the night, wake us all up, and I don't get nothing. You don't get something. Generally find a little treat for you. But what other thing that happens in here is somebody always pinches all the bedding. He always sleeps on the floor, which is sensible because we've got underfloor heating. He's fading now. His little eyes are going. This is right, you can all clear off, it's bedtime.
Jeremy wants to make sure Silvestre gets some of the wood wool to snuggle up in.
Now, there's plenty there for everybody. I've had my bottle. He says, bugger off, I'm going to sleep now.
This time on Monkey Life, the grand opening of the new orang enclosure. But young Kai loses his nerve.
It is an awful, big, daunting new change, and he is only a young lad.
A friend at last for new boy Tau.
Having not grown up with other capuchins, it's hard to know how much Tau will want that sort of social interaction.
And a sticky situation at the chimp nursery when Bryan steals Ash's jelly.
If there's any left over, I'll have it, because I love jelly as well.
Monkey World in Dorset is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
The monkey's got really aggressive and has started self-mutilating.
The park is home to more than 240 monkeys and apes from 17 different species. For the last 6 weeks, Gordon and Tuan's groups of orangs have had to stay inside because their outdoor enclosure is being renovated. Until now, they've had to share an outdoor space, which has meant using it on alternate days. But now, it's been split in two.
We're dividing the enclosure so that both groups can go out every day, so it's a really exciting time. It's something that we've wanted to do for a long time, and now it's all coming together.
It's been a massive undertaking, but the work is almost finished and the orangs can't wait to get out. They've been keeping a close eye on the progress from the sidelines.
They've obviously been watching to a certain extent because they have an outside tunnel that runs along their enclosure, so they've been watching everybody busy.
Orangs are native to the islands of Borneo and Sumatra in Southeast Asia, and in the wild, they spend most of their time in the trees. They can't do this at the park, but the team are trying to give them the next best thing.
We're using the same basic concept that we've used for our other outside enclosures, and that's telegraph poles with platforms and some shelters. But we wanted to try and make it a little bit more complex than we've done before. We thought about orangutans and the way that they move in the forest. Orangutans are arboreal, which means that they spend the majority of their time up in the canopy. So we want to put as much hosing up as possible so that each structure is linked to the nearby structures, and then they can choose the way in which they move about and hopefully encourage them to be up as much as possible. It's looking good, it's exciting.
There are 85 capuchins at the park living in 3 large groups. These monkeys are naturally social animals and enjoy company. They groom each other to strengthen bonds and develop friendships. Tau was recently rescued from Slovenia, where he'd led a very lonely existence as a pet. Since arriving at the park, staff have kept him apart from the others to give him a chance to get used to his new surroundings and to allow him to build up his strength. But now, it's time for him to start making friends.
Tau over the last month has been sort of recuperating, gaining a bit of weight and a bit of condition. And we wanted to do this to allow him to build up a bit of confidence as well as a bit of condition, because the introductions at the boys will be quite, or could potentially be quite a stressful time. So we wanted him to have a bit more strength and be able to cope a lot better. But this is a perfect time. He has put on some weight since he's come. He's filled out. His face looks a lot bigger, so the signs are looking good, and that now is the right time for him.
Tau is 6 years old and has never really known other capuchins, so this is a big moment for him. He's moving into the boys' lodge, where eventually he'll be able to climb trees and forage just like the others. Most of these capuchins came from a lab in Chile, so they too had to adapt to a more natural way of life. The arrival of the new boy has caused a lot of interest, but staff have decided to introduce him to just one of them today. Tau is released into a bedroom. CCTV cameras have recently been installed here, which will allow staff to monitor the capuchins without interfering.
They're just there for our own interest, but also as a valuable tool for us to assess how things are going.
Once Tau has settled, Capuchin Diaz is let through to join him.
We chose Diaz as he's quite a sort of friendly capuchin. He is quite low ranking in the group, but this has actually meant he's got quite a nice, calm personality at the moment, and we thought this would be quite nice for Tau, not to obviously put someone in there that's going to cause too much problems early on.
Diaz is curious and reaches up to Tau, who seems fascinated with Diaz's hands.
Being a pet-trade animal, it's hard to know how much Tau will want that sort of social interaction, having not grown up with other capuchins. It'll be interesting to see.
But Tau is remarkably relaxed and joins Diaz on the window ledge.
We've had lots of the other boys actually looking through the window from the small outside enclosure, so there's been lots of interaction.
Without any humans around, Tau seems keen to make friends with Diaz.
Tau initially started grooming his own foot and then tentatively moved over to Diaz, and we actually saw his first grooming session. So yeah, we were absolutely thrilled that he was picking up some grooming behaviour so early on. We couldn't have asked for a better first day, really. Diaz has been really good. He's leaving Tau to it a lot of the time, so any interaction is coming from Tau, which I think is a lot better than having someone who's sort of right in your face trying to get to know you. You know, I mean, for an animal that's not used to that much social interaction, it is good for it to come on his terms. We are keeping a close eye on both boys throughout the day. We'll keep them together overnight, and then over the next few days we'll start adding a few more friendly faces in.
The first of the new orang enclosures is finished at last and ready for the ultimate test. Orangs are highly intelligent, and the team have to make sure that everything is watertight before they let them loose. If there's a way out, they'll find it. Alison and Animal Director Jeremy head down for one final check.
Yeah, they're all countersunk, but they're all squeezed
I thought they
in.
were changing them or something.
Yeah, they did change them because the other ones had a little step on them.
Yeah.
Readdressed the bottom bit last night and put some
Welds on.
Yeah, got some welds on it.
The orangs are by far the most intelligent species of primate that we keep here at the park. So they test everything. If there's a loose nut or bolt anywhere in this entire complex, Amy will find it, the others will find it. So no, they're going to put us to the test. You know, we've made sure that all of the climbing frame is far enough away from the overhangs and fences so that they, you know, can't get over and out. Everybody from maintenance to groundsmen to primate care staff have just all joined up together to build, I believe, probably one of the best orangutan complexes and outdoor environments in captivity for our guys. Ready? Let's go.
Gordon's group are going to try the enclosure first. But after so long inside, the team are expecting them to be wary. Leader Gordon cautiously ventures out. But stepson Kai hangs back.
Okay, good boy.
With a little encouragement, he does take a few more steps. Kai's mum, Xiao Kuai, along with baby Jin, seems to like the look of the new climbing frame. But it's all a bit too much for Kai, who heads back to the tunnel. While Gordon climbs up, Kai climbs back in. Gordon is starting to explore. He was born at the park and had to be hand-reared because his mother, Amy, wouldn't care for him. But at 14 years old, he's now the dominant male in this group. Xiao Kuai has climbed to the top. She's fearless, despite having baby Jin clinging onto her. Kai plucks up the courage to try again.
You know, it is an awful, big, daunting new change, and he is only a young lad. So it was sort of fair enough that he took his time and actually watched his mum. In the wild, orangutans stay with their mothers for up to, say, 7 years. And that's just learning everything they need to know about their lives, what to eat, where to go, how to build nests, all of those kinds of things. So Kai standing back and then taking his time and following on is actually the natural way of things because, you know, he would still be quite dependent upon following his mother. It's just brilliant to see them outside and doing what we had hoped they would do. They've come out, they've gone straight to the climbing frame, and they've not come down again. It's just constant activity, exploring everything, going up, down, through, in, out. You notice already I've seen Xiao Kuai actually brachiating, swinging from arm to arm. Mainly they're doing that thing that they do walking through the trees. So the body is mostly kept upright. You might tilt sideways, but they're using all 4 limbs, walking through the complex houses and everything. So for the youngsters growing up, you can get a better education than if you were in the trees.
However, it's not long before the orangs start to put the workmanship to the test. Gordon has managed to dismantle one of the hoses, while Xiao Kuai begins to test the boundaries. Wise beyond his years, Gordon decides to trade the hose for something a little tastier. The team will have some repair work to do before they give Tuan's group a chance to go in the enclosure. Monkey World is predominantly a rescue centre, but it does breed a handful of species as part of international breeding programmes. Among them are golden-cheeked gibbons. Peanut and her partner Peng Yo have been particularly successful. They have 2 children, 5-year-old Tian and 2-year-old Tia Nang.
They're kids that are just full of energy. They have a lot of fun. You see them most days out in the trees, just wild acrobatics. They're actually quite scary to watch, some of the leaps that they take, just huge jumps through the trees. They are extremely fast and do have a lot of fun playing together.
As with all gibbons, Peanut's family are very close-knit, and staff are pretty sure there may soon be a new addition.
Over the last few months, we've noticed quite a few behavioural and physical changes in Peanut and the other family members, which indicate that she is in the latter stages of pregnancy. For example, physically, she is obviously looking a little bit on the large side with her stomach. Behavioural wise, it's actually how she's treating Tia Nang that gives us that indication that she is also pregnant. Recently, mum's refusing to actually carry her at all and has also stopped letting her suckle. It's a natural weaning process that they can't have a 2 or 3 year old child and a newborn baby on them at the same time. They need to give all that attention to the newborn. And it is very natural for that infant to then move on and spend a lot more time with their dad or other family members. Peanut has already given us 2 fantastic kids, so another one is just an added bonus.
Orangutans and woolly monkeys are the other 2 species the park actively breeds. And over at Owaska's house, there's been some exciting news. Lena has had her baby, and staff have finally worked out who the father is. There had been 2 possibilities, Owaska himself or Bueno, who Lena had been living with before Owaska arrived from Basel Zoo in Switzerland last year.
Owaska is the baby's dad, and that's exactly what we wanted. Oski was caught from the wild when he was a baby, so he's purebred and he has no relatives in captivity, and it means that Lena's baby in future will be able to breed with many more individuals and keep the gene pool much more diverse in captivity. Lena's doing fantastically, the baby's really healthy, really active. It's Lena's first child, but she's doing brilliantly. We believe it's a little boy. He's behaving really, really well and everybody's taking care of him.
At the new orang enclosure, Jeremy and the team are busy tightening up nuts and bolts. After Gordon's performance earlier in the day, when he managed to dismantle one of the hoses, they're not taking any chances.
Who put these up? Who?
I'm not going to dump someone in it because I don't know who it was.
2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Tell you what, remind me not to let you guys work on my car.
And while the Primate Care Staff put out fresh browse, Alison does another check of the perimeter fence to make sure Xiaoquai's tunnels are all filled in. Like Gordon's group, Tuan and his gang have also been shut up inside during the building work. It'll be a couple of weeks until the second enclosure is finished, so staff have decided to let Tuan's group test this one out too. As soon as the slides open, Tuan comes out to have a look at what's been going on. Quickly followed by Amy. Lucky and Roro are being more cautious. They want to see how the other 2 get on first. Tuan's already testing out the hoses, but looks back to see where the girls are. Roro has decided to give it a go, and Lucky nervously follows her lead.
Tuan got out there, first out, straight up onto the climbing frame and mid-level, not all the way to the top. You know, in the wild, the females can go out to the tops of the trees and on the ends of branches, whereas males, their weight is just too big, so they can't. Seeing Tuan roaming around mid-canopy height, if you will, in the enclosure is about what he would be doing in the wild. But if you know Tuan, his hands aren't in very good shape, something from his past, but it does slow him down a little bit. Having said that, the exercise that he's going to be getting out here will almost be like physiotherapy. He's going to have to be grabbing and using those hands a lot more.
Tuan is keen to see how the neighbouring enclosure is progressing. Lucky is into the swing of things now. She came from Taiwan after being smuggled from the wild. Just like Roro, who's discovered she has a head for heights.
Lucky and Roro, who are 2 really live catwalk orangutans, a little bit thoughtful about it, slow coming out, but then when they got out here, investigating everything, and Roro, cargo net lady. It just makes my stomach go into my throat because that's very high up and she's swinging off the outside of the cargo net, no problems.
Amy, however, is happy to stay at ground level.
I don't think that she's even lifted 1 foot up off the ground yet. But then, you know, Amy's been hand-reared all of her life and is used to sort of new things happening. So I think it's more a point of honor I'll just stick down here, clear up all of the breakfast, and when I can be bothered, I might go up high.
The new enclosure will hopefully encourage the rather sedate orangs to take more exercise, but there will be other benefits.
The whole enclosure design has social impacts, and already I've been noticing Tuan going around looking at all of the ladies, but there's so many different places they can go to and places they can escape. It's going to be tough work for the old boy to catch up with them now. So the few weeks that they've had indoors where Tuan's had the ladies at his beck and call, those days I'm afraid are over, and he's have to work a little bit harder to impress the ladies now.
The orangs aren't the only ones who've been shut inside recently. Sally and the gang at the chimp nursery have been confined indoors too. But Jeremy has prepared a sticky treat to make up for it.
Today we've got the big jelly fruit treat, but also it's an exciting day for them because the maintenance work that was done on the enclosure yesterday, they spent all day inside. It's going to be their first day out for 2 days as well, so they hopefully are going to be pretty excited. It'll be a case of eating some and wearing the rest, and probably the containers that it's in is more interesting than the jelly. And if there's any left over, I'll have it because I love jelly as well.
Lulu, Bryan and Sally are all keen to get some fresh air. But Bryan backs off when he spots the giant jellies. His cries attract the others. The strange invaders seem to be causing quite a stir. Foster mum Sally has a sniff. And Ash is curious too. Mischievous Rodders is more interested in his ball, which has got stuck in the sticky stuff. None of them seem to want to get their hands dirty. And Sally's decided she's only interested in the fruit. Ash has worked out a way of getting to the jelly without getting messy. While second in command, Lulu has more refined table manners. Ash is now tucking in, but Bryan has other plans and steals the bucket from under her nose. Being bigger and stronger than Ash, he manages to make his escape. And despite Ash's pleas, he has no intention of sharing. The buckets are giving young Rodders no end of fun. But, as with all party food, Sally eventually realises you can have too much of a good thing. Today on Monkey Life. Upsetting news for the team when siamang Gibbon Onion is taken to theatre.
How's that? How do I feel there? Fat. Sheesh. Fluid, that's not good.
Staff try to coax Capuchin Tau outside.
It's potentially quite a scary thing for Tau, having never been outside. He might be a little bit agoraphobic.
And keeping cool, the stumpies are given a paddling pool. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is one of the oldest sanctuaries of its kind on the planet. For 25 years, the team have been rescuing and rehabilitating abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Next stop, Monkey World in Hananya's group.
The park is led by Dr. Alison Cronin and is home to more than 240 monkeys and apes. There are 2 siamang gibbons at Monkey World, Sam and his son Onion. Siamangs are the largest of all gibbons and also the loudest. Their song is distinctive as it's amplified by their huge throat sacs. Onion is just 11 years old. He was born at the park as part of the European Endangered Species breeding programme. But over the past few weeks, the veterinary team have become concerned about his health. So they've decided to investigate. As with all the primates, Onion has had to be anaesthetised to carry out tests.
For the last 10 days now, his appetite's been very variable, and we don't really know what's going on with him. The blood samples haven't been particularly helpful, and he's also got a mild bacterial infection which may or may not be significant.
An X-ray shows some stones in Onion's gut.
He has these stones, and on first glance they look as if they're in the bladder area, in the pelvis, and they should be coming on through. We feel that we need to look in there and try and remove them and see if that will get things right. The problem is, we're not going in here saying this is the reason, and if we take those out he's going to be better, because we don't know why he's eaten them in the first place. Has he eaten stones because he doesn't feel well? Does he just want to play around with them in his mouth and then, oops, I've eaten them? We've never seen any stones come out in either their feces, for example.
The team are particularly worried about the stones because in 2009, Onion's mum Sage tragically died when she swallowed a fruit stone which perforated her gut. They can't take any chances. They have to operate.
He can't go on as he is because he's not really eating to any degree. He chews it round in his mouth. He's not a happy animal at all. And that's upsetting to his father, Sam, who he's very, very close to. And Sam is almost intensely grooming him, pushing him. Come on, why don't you want to play? Why aren't you doing this? So the whole behaviour is changing with him.
Mike and his veterinary colleague Thezar prepare Onion for surgery. The team will monitor him carefully throughout the procedure.
Right, he's come down to about 90.
Before they begin, Mike and Thezar feel Onion's belly for anything unusual.
Yeah, what do you think? It's super prominent.
Here, just here. That spleen on that side? Here, just under my finger. I mean, that's quite firm there.
They found an abnormal swelling. Things could be far more serious than they first thought. While the team work on Onion, away from the hospital, everyone is taking it easy. At the Stumpy enclosure, staff have decided to help the macaques keep cool.
We're going to give them a tub with just some water in. We've put it on a slight slant, so there's going to be a deep end, a shallow end, and a bit at the front which won't have water in it at all. We're just going to put some food in it for them, and they can choose to come and sit in it or just look over the edge and reach for some food that way. Their wild diet is mainly fruit, but it is kind of made up of other things as well, like seeds, flowers, buds. They will eat freshwater crabs and also frogs as well, so it kind of shows that they would go close to the water in the wild. We'll spread the rest of the food everywhere, so they have got a choice whether they come and use the tub or not. They can still have some of their favourite foods, so hopefully it will keep them busy for quite a long time. Come on, guys!
Noreen ignores the paddling pool, but quickly grabs some of the food that's been scattered. While Paddy sensibly sits in the shade. These ugly monkeys, as they're affectionately known, were all overweight when they arrived at the park because they spent most of their lives in laboratories being used for research, so didn't get much exercise. There's a strict pecking order in the group, which means the more dominant macaques have priority when it comes to food. But lowest ranker Phil, who has least authority in the group, has quietly managed to get his hands on some of the goodies. Charlie is keen to put Cola in her place. Leader Sam is the first to investigate the pool, although he doesn't want to paddle.
Yay, Sam! Good boy!
Dominant female Kelly decides to take the plunge, and she's soon reaping the rewards. When low-ranking Cola tries to take her turn, Maureen pushes her out of the way. Noreen's next to investigate, delicately picking out the seeds, but then decides she might as well get wet.
If we can do anything to get them moving just a little bit and try and lose some of that weight that some of them have, it's good. You can see their little legs working and them trying to steady themselves. So, yeah, I think it's working their muscles, which is really good.
Once everyone's had enough, Phil manages to sneak in there, but with all the fruit gone, he has to settle for the dregs. At the park's hospital, the team are very worried about siamang Gibbon, Onion. They're about to open him up to investigate an abnormal swelling they've discovered in his belly. As soon as Mike makes the incision, there's another sign that something's wrong.
Wow, that's fluid. That's not good.
Oh, gosh.
That is not good. But that doesn't show on the X-ray, does it?
No.
So much fluid in the abdominal cavity is bad news. Mike needs to find out if the stones Onion has swallowed are the cause.
The stones are immediately here. I've got them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
They're in the cecum.
Yeah.
You know, it's not uncommon.
The stones aren't the problem. They're in a part of the gut where they won't cause any harm. But Mike has come across something else.
What the hell's that? How do I feel there? Fat. Solid.
That doesn't look nice.
Crikey.
Exactly, that's what we were feeling.
That's what you could feel. It's knobbly. Sheesh.
What is that?
They found the lump they felt before they started operating.
Fatty.
Well, it's solid. It's really, really firm. That's abnormal as far as I'm concerned. Oh, he's got a tumour.
It's like a massive tumour.
Sugar.
It's a dreadful shock for the team. And they don't yet know whether Onion's tumour is operable. At Monkey World's hospital, the park's vet, Mike Nathan, and his colleague Thesar are trying to remove what looks like a massive tumour from siamang Gibbon Onion's stomach.
This is it. The stones are secondary. This is where the spleen should be.
And it's not possible that that's anything other than a tumour?
I don't think so.
They can only cut out the tumour if it's not firmly attached to Onion's vital organs.
This is operable or is not, that's the question. So we need to check, we need to give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's crack on and...
Yeah, obviously we don't want him to be in pain. If we can have a go at removing what we can and see how he goes.
Yeah. It's attached to the abdominal wall down there. This is unoperable. This looks bad, Alison.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm very sorry.
It's bad news. No one was expecting this.
The spleen has been completely
Taken over.
infiltrated by this mass. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm very sorry.
Sorry.
You guys all good with that? Everybody in agreement?
Can you get the euthytal, Jeremy? And we can inject it into the vein that's there already.
Mike has no choice. He can't save Onion, so he has to put him to sleep. The tumour is too big. It only takes a few moments for Onion to slip away. It's devastating for everyone. Mike was there when Onion was born.
If you've got a loved pet that has something that's inoperable, to bring it back round to die slowly is horrible. I feel particularly sad because he was my caesarean. We've tried to treat the simple things first, and the things we can't treat, you have to be realistic, sadly.
Onion had an eventful life at the park. His birth was very dramatic.
This is a big baby.
Mike had to do an emergency caesarean when his mum Sage got into problems.
Whoa, it's been a rough start.
But from the moment he was born, he proved to be very popular with the staff.
Onion was a lovely boy. He was a lot of fun. He had a really good character. Very, very playful, very affectionate towards us and towards his dad as well. When Onion's mum died, obviously he was a little bit sad. Like any animal losing a parent, it's a big shock, and life is very, very different. He was very lucky that he has Sam, a very supportive dad, and he has a very close relationship with, and they just bounced off each other to help each other through it. If they were in the house, they'd be together. If they were outside, they'd be together, up in the trees, singing together every day as well. So just watching him having that close bond with his dad, it was just so beautiful to see.
Deaths are all part of life at the park, but so too are births, and a recent arrival is keeping the Primate Care Staff busy. Woolly monkey Lena had a baby boy along with dad Waska, and the keepers have finally decided on a name.
We've decided to call him Milo, which includes the initials of both of his parents as well, so it's a bit sentimental. Milo's fantastic. He's really advanced for such a little woolly. He's already coming off of his mum, so he's quite brave, and to do that he has to feel really secure in the group that nobody's going to harm him. So that's brilliant. He's also already climbing, which is very early for such a young man, and he's starting to try and walk on the ground. We always try and be a little bit cautious, but they're doing a brilliant job without us intervening at all, so we're just going to let them carry on being a family, and as long as they carry on doing a fantastic job, we've got nothing to worry about.
Since having Milo, Lena's status within the group has risen, and Oscar is paying her more attention. But staff are keen to make sure the other two females, Quappa and Zingu, are not left out.
Today we've made some frozen treats for Oski's group of woolly monkeys. They're just a mixture of raspberries all squished up and yoghurt mixed together. Part of me thinks that they might pick it up and then throw it on the floor because it's cold. But hopefully, maybe when it thaws out a little bit and it gets a little bit warmer, they'll enjoy them more.
The woolies are excited at the sight of the frozen treats, and Lena is straight in there. Not wanting to be left out, Dad Oscar digs in. He's quite happy to get his hands dirty and even tries to steal Lena's.
They seem quite happy.
Quappa's now got in on the action too. And even baby Milo is having the odd crumb.
He does taste solid, so whenever we put food in, he is taking bits. So he has had a little bit of a lick of this. So definitely, he tries to taste everything, really, that he can get his hands on. But woolly monkeys don't tend to give their babies food. The babies have to pick it up, and a lot of the time, they'll pick up what's been dropped onto their mum. So he'll pick food off her, and then when she sits down, he'll be able to get off and grab his own food. So he has to work for a little bit, even at a tiny age.
Woolly monkeys come from South America, and in the wild, their diet mainly consists of fruit. But they'll also eat nuts, seeds, leaves, flowers, insects, and even small reptiles. Here at the park, Oscar seems to be quite happy with his raspberry treats. Another new arrival at the park is finally beginning to make friends. Capuchin Tau, who was recently rescued from Slovenia, has settled in nicely with the boys, but today will mark a major milestone in his life. He's going to be allowed outside. Tau was kept as a pet and for 5 years lived in a basement room with no natural sunlight.
It's quite hard to sort of predict what Tau might do. It's potentially quite a scary thing for Tau, having never been outside. He might be a little bit agoraphobic, so there's a high chance that he'll be a little bit reluctant to venture out today. Having said that, he quite often follows some of the other monkeys, so he may just see them all going outside and trottle along behind them. So, yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see exactly what happens.
Staff have chosen 4 boys to keep Tau company who've been particularly friendly to him.
Come on, boys!
Winslow and Bruce take the lead, and Diaz quickly follows. But Tau doesn't seem keen to go with them, preferring the security of the bedroom. Diaz tries to encourage his friend out, while Winslow is more interested in his stomach. Bruce hot-foots it on the hoses, but Tau's still reluctant.
He seems quite tired this morning. He's been quite active first thing and sort of eating and moving around and sort of exploring, and I think it's all just taken its toll on him now, and for the last half hour or so he's been asleep on his blanket in his tube, so it's going to be a big change for him to go out there, and it's quite a big wide open space that he's not really used to, so it could take sort of a few hours, or it could take a few days for him to sort of get brave enough to go out.
Finally, when the others aren't watching, Tau makes a break for it. And it's not long before he's on the hoses. Staff are hoping this kind of exercise will help to build up his wasted muscles. In the wild, capuchins forage for their food, but having been a pet, Tau has never had to do this. So he amazes everyone when he takes Bruce's lead and begins to dig out some worms.
I would never have thought that on his first day he'd actually be foraging around, and also the way he's been moving is amazing when you think back to what he was like a month ago, and now he's clambering on the cargo net, which some of our other boys are quite nervous to do, and although he still looks a little bit ungangly at times, he's coping very well. It hasn't been that long since he's been here at Monkey World. It's been just over a month. So to think of all the things he's actually gone through since he's come here, and just how relaxed he actually looks out there is really amazing. There's a long way to go, but it's good to see these positive signs early on.
At the siamang house, Onion's father Sam is all alone.
It's never the individuals who pass away, especially if it's relatively peaceful. It's the individuals that get left behind that are so sad. And now, of course, all of our thoughts turn to Sam, and how is he going to get on with his life, and how is he going to be okay? And now it's a case of we have to decide, what do we do for him in the long run? Should he go back out into his enclosure all on his own? And that's my greatest concern, is letting him out into that huge stand of trees and then him freaking out trying to find his family. It's very sad, but in my mind anyway, the one thing that he does still have here is his home. And so we'll let him back out into his home, and hopefully he'll feel comfortable and confident enough that he's okay to ride it out as a single male siamang gibbon for the short term, and then we'll start making plans for future.
Gibbons need company, and it may be that Sam will end up having to leave the park.
Actually, the only thing that matters in my mind is Sam's welfare and happiness. So if that's him staying here and us bringing a mate to him, good. If that's him actually going someplace else because he can be with a mate on a nice island someplace else, that's okay too. Sam's very important to everybody here at Monkey World, so we will ensure 100% that his future is planned out, looked after, and that he's going to have a good and a happy one.
This time on Monkey Life. The team stand by to welcome a very special new arrival.
From Louisville, Kentucky, the last female woolly monkey in America, and she's here.
Baby Silvestre finally meets his new surrogate mum, Oshine.
Hey, no.
And mayhem at the Bachelor's when the boys show off their ball skills. Monkey World in Dorset is one of the largest sanctuaries of its kind on the planet. For 25 years, the team have been rescuing and rehabilitating abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Shall I take him?
Yes.
If you'll stay with me.
The park is led by Dr. Alison Cronin and is home to more than 240 monkeys and apes. The centre has developed a worldwide reputation for its success in breeding woolly monkeys. There are now 16 of these primates at Monkey World, living in 3 separate groups. One of them is headed up by Bueno. He's a very popular leader who's been at the park since 2005. The dominant female in his group is Urema, who recently gave birth to Bueno's son, Enzo. Young Paolo is also in this group. He follows Bueno around like a shadow, keen to learn from the boss. But today, these woolies are going to be joined by another who's coming all the way from America as part of an international breeding program. It's an exciting day for the Primate Care Staff as they prepare the house for the new arrival, who's travelling 4,000 miles from Louisville Zoo in Kentucky. They want to make her feel as welcome as possible when she arrives in Dorset.
We're just waiting for them to roll up right now, but we've got Sara finally arriving. She's had a bit of a long journey from America, from Louisville, Kentucky, the last female woolly monkey in America, and she's here. So, yeah, finally.
Woolly monkeys are critically endangered, and the only male woolly monkeys in North America at the moment are Sara's dad and brother. So the breeding program decided Monkey World would be the best option for her.
Yeah, and the trooper. How you doing, mister?
Sylvia, who has cared for Sara since she was born, has travelled with her. The team want to get Sara settled quickly as woolly monkeys are prone to stress.
Okay, here we are. Everybody's very anxious right now, as you can hear by her calls. The bird chirping that is an alarm call. So we just want to get her into the bedrooms and let her settle down for the night. And tomorrow, then she can meet everybody.
Sara is joining Bueno's group because it's still fairly small. Being unrelated to any of the other monkeys makes her very important for breeding. Sylvia stays with Sara so she can see a familiar face. Next door, Bueno's gang can sense something's going on.
We've moved Bueno's group of woolly monkeys back in next to Sara. She can't see them, but she can hear them and she knows they're there. She doesn't seem too concerned at the moment. I think she's having quite a big day. There's lots of noise, lots of new things. So maybe once we all go home and leave her in peace, she might suddenly realise there's new and interesting neighbours. But for now, she seems quite calm.
Despite her long journey, Sara hasn't lost her appetite.
She's well and truly helped herself to dinner. She's had bananas, grapes, all sorts. She's had a bit of a scratch with some of the keepers, which apparently she really enjoys. So I think she's relaxing a bit. And she can't think we're too scary or she wouldn't be helping herself quite so enthusiastically. She's actually waiting now that I'm talking, sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh, and a little trill. That's a very happy woolly monkey noise, so things are going okay. Nice.
Once Sara has got over her jet lag, it'll be time for her to meet her new family. There are 4 groups of chimps at the park. Paddy's has been established the longest. Then there's the chimp nursery led by Sally. Hananya heads up a group of 19 chimps. And finally, there's an all-male group known as the Bachelors, which is led by Butch. The staff are constantly looking for ways to keep the primates busy, and today, it's the boys' turn.
Today we're doing a really special enrichment day for the Bachelor boys. We've got tons of really big boxes, which I think they're going to love.
The boys don't have a great attention span, so the staff have to work extra hard when thinking up ideas for them.
We're just going to pack all the boxes with wood wool and then put some scatter in, so maybe some sunflower seeds, monkey nuts, dates, things like that. So it'll just mean that they'll spend quite a lot of time going through it looking for the bits of food we've put in. We've also got some footballs which we're going to put in as well, so it's a really big enrichment day. They've probably never had this many boxes at one time, so I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with them.
Jester is first in, closely followed by leader Butch. They're surprisingly quiet until they discover the boxes. Sammy is so excited he starts displaying, as does Paco.
So the display just acts as a warning and the reminder to the rest of the group just who's in charge. They want to make as much noise as possible. They also want to look as big as possible. Their hair puffs up and stood on end, their arms and legs splayed, and they'll often use props. So in the wild, generally, they'd use branches. Obviously, they don't have them here, so the boxes make ideal props during their displays.
Once the boys discover the food, they calm down. Mojo, who gets on well with everyone, tucks in. But Charlie has discovered the footballs and begins to show off his skills. Kiko demonstrates a back pass, while Jester gets one in off the post.
Usually when we give them footballs, they'll just pop them within the first few minutes and that's the fun over, but they actually kept them.
Paquito has a go at dribbling, but then focuses on his ball control. As half-time approaches, there's a lot of tackling going on. When Charlie and Gypsy get into a scuffle, Jimmy has to act as referee. But then, Gypsy picks a fight with Kiko instead. He's heading for a red card. At full time, with all the food gone, the chimps put the wood wool to good use.
We're going to leave the boxes in overnight because what they'll usually do is they'll use the boxes as part of their nest, so they'll tear them up and mix it with wood wool and can wrap it all around them, and that'll be their nest for the night.
Life is much quieter at the siamang Gibbon house, where Sam is getting used to life on his own. The veterinary team recently had to put his son Onion to sleep because they found a massive inoperable tumour in his gut.
This looks bad, Alison.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm very sorry.
Sam also lost his partner Sage a couple of years ago.
Today we've decided to let Sam outside. It's been a couple of days since we had to make the difficult decision to put his son Onion down. Clearly he would choose to be with his mate and have companionship, especially that he knows. But I'm not convinced that he's actually totally devastated and upset and pining. And we just wanted to make sure that Sam was settled and didn't seem too distraught, too frantic, or too upset before we let him outside into a 30-meter stand of trees.
Today, staff are putting out a puzzle feeder to keep him occupied.
Basically what we're aiming to do is actually to get him off the ground and up into the trees, kind of replicating the natural behaviour that he would exhibit in the wild, foraging for his food.
Sam spots it immediately. doesn't take him long to work out how to get to the treats. Gibbons have long arms that they use to swing through the tops of the trees, and they prove very useful to get at the hard-to-reach pieces of fruit. Siamang gibbons come from Malaysia, Thailand and Sumatra. They're endangered partly due to the illegal pet trade, but also because their habitat is being destroyed, mainly by the palm oil industry, which is clearing large swathes of forests. In the wild, they live in pairs with their offspring. Male and female siamangs have different songs, which they sing together as a duet. Sam and Onion used to sing together at the park, but now Sam has to sing on his own. Alison is trying to find him a new mate and is feeling positive.
He's gone brilliantly, and I'm really pleased. Sam's looking okay, and he's back out in the one secure and regular thing that we can give him, which is his home and his lovely stand of trees.
At Bueno's woolly monkey house, new girl Sara seems to have recovered after her long journey from America. And the team have decided it's time for her to meet the others.
In a minute, we're going to be introducing Bueno and Urema and Enzo and Paolo into the mix. And hopefully everybody will get on very well. They're all a really nice bunch of monkeys, very easygoing. So hopefully they'll all accept each other, spend the day getting to know each other. And then when we're happy that they're comfortable, we'll let them try out their outside enclosure together. Just as we left last night, Urema was making really loud, really affectionate calls to Sara, and she was replying. So things are looking really positive, and we've just got to keep our fingers crossed that when they actually meet face to face, things will carry on that way.
In the wild, it's normal for girls to leave their families and join other groups. This is nature's way of preventing inbreeding. So Bueno's gang shouldn't find it too unsettling to have a new female member. It's not long before Bueno, Urema, Enzo and Paolo emerge to meet the newcomer.
So far today it's gone fantastically. We couldn't have really asked for more. Bueno has been amazing. He's been teeth chattering again, so he's very, very interested in her. Good girl, Urema. Urema snuffled Sara. Sara, I don't think, was quite sure what to make of it. But she was very diplomatic and just kept her eyes turned away and wasn't being confrontational at all. Paolo, bless him, is in his own little world. He was so excited by everything. He did a wall of death around the playroom for several minutes, but now he's calmed down. I think he's quite comfortable with her being in the group. He just hasn't quite plucked up the courage to actually have much of an interaction with her yet. From here, hopefully, the guys have sorted themselves out. They're all in together. We haven't given them outside access yet because we need to be happy that Sarah's comfortable enough that she knows to come back into the house if she's cold or frightened or it's the end of the day. So hopefully that'll be for us tomorrow to do. But for today, we're just going to let them get used to each other, have some nice snacks, generally have a nice relax, and we're hoping to leave them together overnight.
At the orang nursery, another recent arrival is settling in well. Baby Silvestre was rehomed from a zoo in Spain because his mother refused to feed him. Under a European breeding programme, Monkey World looks after all orphaned orangs.
Silvestre's just doing fantastic. He's everything we could have hoped for in a baby orangutan. Sounds a bit funny, but he is simply brilliant, really confident, just strolls up to everybody and puts his hand out to say hello. And today's the big one. Today we're gonna open the door between him and Oshine, with Jeremy, of course, involved. Fingers crossed. We'll see how we go.
Oshine arrived at the park in 2010 from South Africa, where she'd been kept as a pet. Staff are hoping she'll act as a surrogate mum to Silvestre. But as she spent most of her life living with humans, she won't have come across a baby orang before, so the meeting could go either way. Oshine is very fond of animal director Jeremy and may not like the idea of sharing him with the newcomer.
Oh, good. soldiers?
It's taking place in the safety of the bedrooms, as it's a more controllable area.
He says, let me get his toys. Hello. Where are we going? Oh, right, we're going. So we're just going back over here, apparently. Ooh. What are we going to do now? Where's your toys? You got any toys to play with or anything? Who's that? Who's that?
As always, Silvestre is the one to hold out a hand of friendship.
No. There you go. You're not quite sure, are you, Puppet? Who's that? Go on, just say hi to him. Go on, give something. For the first time in your life, give something. How about that? If you give, you can reap what you sow and you can get more back. Apparently. It's never happened to me yet, but... Hello.
Oshine can't seem to make up her mind about the little orang.
I don't think she's got any issues. She's just confused, I think. I don't think she can see any point in him. But, you know, maybe that will wear up. Hey, no. Okay. Still a very little boy, so he's got loads of time. You know, we have regular visits which can just familiarise everybody, and then if it becomes just part of the routine, it's not such a big deal. The whole introduction is a long process, so if we just have a natural evolution of a friendship rather than thrown in at the deep end, and because he's so human dependent still, he still needs his bottle 6:30 in the morning and 10 o'clock at night, which clearly the best will in the world these guys can't do, then we're just going to have to work together. You know, it's a bit of teamwork going on here. Teamwork? Yeah, there's no I in team.
While Oshine is getting to know Silvestre, over at the Capuchins, the boys are about to be given their favourite treat. In the wild, Capuchin monkeys forage for a variety of foods, but here they're particularly partial to mealworms, which are specially bred to feed captive wild animals.
We do give them a lot of fruit and veg, and that makes up the majority of their diet. Along with insect feeds as well, which are very important. In the wild, they do spend a lot of time foraging for insects. And there's also a protein portion in their diet, which is also because they are omnivores, so they do eat a wide range of different things, including some mammal and bird species as well. Capuchins are really good with their hands, very good at finding things with them. They're very dexterous. Being live food, the worms will hopefully crawl around a lot more and get into the crevices, and this will make it a little bit more difficult for them to find the food.
Hi, Tau.
One Capuchin has been separated from the rest to make sure he gets his fair share.
Boy.
Tau was recently rescued from Slovenia, where he'd been kept as a pet. When he arrived, he was underweight and undernourished, so the staff have been feeding him up with insects packed full of protein.
These are giant mealworms, and he absolutely loves them, which is handy. We generally try and give him probably a good 10 or so a day.
Do you want another one? Oh, good boy. Can you try something else?
Oh, good boy. That's nice, isn't it?
The staff are trying other foods to bulk him up too.
No.
Today, it's rice pudding. Tau's not tempted.
He'll drop everything and come over for a giant mealworm or a locust, but his other favourite foods are the vegetables and the fruit, which is obviously good from a diet point of view, but yeah, I mean, if he's just chewing on some celery or some lettuce all day, he's not really going to pile on the pounds, so that's why the intensive feeding of the extras is really important.
Staff are monitoring Tau's weight. When he arrived, he was just 2.5 kilos. Jenny's hoping to notice a difference. But persuading a Capuchin to sit on a set of scales is challenging.
Tally. Come on, Tau. Tau, there's some more here. Come on.
Jenny's trying to bribe him with some of his favourite snacks.
We've got loads of these, don't run away. Oh, good boy. Oh, tails off.
It's quite good at coming over, but he doesn't always stay on the scales for very long, so it can be quite tricky at this stage to get a really accurate weight on him. Also, it's not only the bulk of his body that needs to be on, but quite often the tail will be hanging off the scales, so I've got to try and position him so everything's on there, because every bit of tail counts at the moment. That's better, your tail's off. I'm very happy. 3.5 kgs is sort of a nice milestone that we've been trying to achieve for the last sort of couple of weeks, so that's really good. You never know, he might... No, he's gone again.